Mike Sainristil, just a favorite of every draft analyst, I think, just because he's that slot corner who loves to get dirty in the run game, packs a punch, tackling, very good zone defender, former receiver with very good ball skills. You liked Kenny Moore comp for him?
Yeah.
Pick your favorite slot receiver who's willing to get dirty in the run game. For me, it was Mike Hilton, because he's awesome zone defender, sees the game really well. He's going to blow up screens. I think he picked off a screen just like Mike Hilton did in the playoffs a couple years ago. But if you leave him one-on-one, get stuck a little bit. You get beat up one-on-one. So if you put Sainristil in the right position, I think he's a very good football player.
Yep, absolutely.
To say Adam Peters and Dan Quinn absolutely destroyed this year's NFL draft would even be an understatement. Not only did they kill it, but they added guys all over the board in free agency and the draft that are going to be day one starters. And you talk about an overall roster change or a roster haul, this is what they just did. They changed everything. The culture, the aura, the atmosphere, everything is different. Starting from the head coach in Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator Joe Whitt, the GM and Adam Peters, the new roster and guys like Jayden Daniels, Luke McCaffrey, Mike Sainristil, Jerzhan, and even Jordan McGee. All of these guys are going to find a role in this team, and it's going to be really fun to watch. The Washington Commanders are coming. The future is bright. In this video, we're going to break down some film on some of these new draft picks, and we're going to show exactly why this defense specifically is going to be one of the best in the NFL next season. All right, now the first thing I want to talk about here is one of their top picks, Mike Sainristil right here. Now, this is a guy that is going to change everything for the Commanders, but also he's going to fit perfectly into what Dan Quinn and what Joe Whitt Jr. want to do to this defense. So right away on this play, we're going to see a little bit of a motion by this wide receiver. Now, Mike Sainristil is man-to-man up with this guy right here. So when he goes in motion like this, it puts him in a weird situation where he's now got to find the closest guy to him and make sure to get to him. So right away, let's watch this play break down a little bit here. Just put it down on the screen, but here we go. So boom, right away, going to see this motion to the backfield, a little bit of a trick play. So now Mike Sainristil is in a spot where, you got to make that decision. And now you see this tight end kind of start to break loose here and right here. Now he's going to go to the corner of the end zone. And now you got to play catch up. You got to go, right? Now watch how this play breaks down here. CJ Stroud gets to the right side, throws up a lob. Now at this point in time, dude, Mike has got to play insane catch up ball here. Drives back in, gets his arm into the arms of the offensive player and breaks it up. I mean, what an incredible play to understand what is going on, know your assignment, and get back into the play, right? Once number 2 rotates, you got to find your guy to guard. And right, the second closest guy would be this tight end. I mean, this is a big-time play by a big-time player. And what does Sketch say? Special teams, special plays, special players. I mean, that's Mike Sainristil to a T. Now, before we break down more film on some of the guys they added throughout the draft and even some of the guys from last year's draft, let's talk about why Dan Quinn is the perfect fit for the head coaching job here in Washington. Now, right away, the first thing you're going to notice about Dan Quinn, his players love him. He is an absolute player coach. He's known for having exceptional defensive mind, which is why we're going to strictly break down the defense in this video. But if you guys want the part 2, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want the offensive breakdown, maybe with the guy like Cliff Kingsbury, let me know in the comments down below. But also, we will be covering rookie minicamp, so make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, join the family. It is free, doesn't cost anything. But let's get back into the video. So obviously, when Dan Quinn was in Atlanta, he was a very defensive-minded coach. We saw that translate over to, Dallas with guys like Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. I mean, guys, how many years have the Cowboys led the league in interceptions? Yeah, a ton, because of this guy, Dan Quinn, and also a guy he brought over from Dallas and Joe Whitt Jr. We're going to talk all about those, but one of the major reasons why Dan Quinn is the perfect fit is because he's a player coach. I guarantee you go through the league, there's probably, 50% of the guys would say, yeah, I would love to go play with Dan Quinn. Now, prior to joining the Cowboys defense, Dallas's defense was one of the worst in the league, ranking 28th in points allowed per game. Once Dan Quinn was named the defensive coordinator, they ranked number 5 in the NFL in points per game, 19.9, and number 7 in the NFL in net yards allowed per game, 327. 7, number 6 in the NFL in sacks, number 1 in the NFL in interceptions with 59. The man has changed defenses historically, and now he's going to do the same thing here in Washington. Now, not only do I think Mike Sainristil is going to be a big-time addition, but I also think you look back to last year's draft, a guy like Emmanuel Forbes, who didn't have the greatest year in the world, I think he's going to be able to benefit a ton from now having Dan Quinn, but also a guy like Joe Whitt Jr. Now, let's talk a little bit about Joe Whitt Jr., and then we're going to break down a bunch of film from these guys and break down why next season this secondary could be the best in football. The first thing you're going to notice about Joe Whitt Jr., his cornerbacks always are some of the best in the NFL. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, you look at what they continue to develop over there in Dallas in the secondary, they were always one of the best secondaries in the NFL in terms of generating turnovers. And for the Commanders last season, they were not one of the best teams in the NFL creating those turnovers, creating interceptions. Actually, last season, they were second to last in terms of interception percentage. And the one thing that will change right away is Joe Whitt Jr. forcing his DBs to play better, get them in the best possible situation, and make sure they're always in position to make a play on the football. And with having Whitt here, he's going to help all of that. In the time that Whitt was on the Cowboys, their defense forced 93 turnovers and led the league in that category 2021 and 2022, and most of those came from interceptions. Whitt's secondary has been in the top 10 of each of the last 3 seasons in interceptions. Trayvon Diggs led the year NFL in interceptions 2 of the past 3 years, and then last year Deron Bland took on a bigger role in the secondary, starting 15 of 17 games, having 9 interceptions. The one thing we know about Emmanuel Forbes and Mike Sainristil, these guys can force interceptions at the NFL level. All right, here's another very interesting play and why he's going to be a perfect fit, right, with Joe Whitt and Dan Quinn. Man, the dude just has a knack for the football. Right here, we're going to see him break down into, a quarter third, get into this deep safety look or deep DB look, right? And let's just see how this play breaks down a little bit. So right away, obviously, this is in the championship game against Michael Penix, number 8 overall pick to the Atlanta Falcons, 4th and 13, late in the 4th quarter. Michael Penix drops back in the pocket. And when you're playing a zone, you always need to be looking at the quarterback's eyes. That way you know where he's trying to go with the football. Now, in the NFL, a lot of quarterbacks are different where they will look one way, but throw it a different way just to throw off the DB. So you got to be really smart in terms of who you're playing against. In this case scenario, Michael Penix under pressure, throws a ball, gets tipped up in the air, and Mike Sainristil is there for the interception. This guy just has a knack for the football and is going to be able to generate turnovers at a high level, especially under Dan Quinn and Joe Whitt Jr. Now, another thing I love about this DB is the mindset, the strength, the toughness, the athleticism, and the upside to just keep getting better. Now, when you talk about slot defensive backs in the NFL, you think about guys like Mike Hilton or, even Kenny Moore. These guys are really, able to come up and stop the run if need be. Now, another reason I think he's going to be a dog in the NFL is just for that mindset alone. He's got explosive traits, and he's quick to digest plays, right? On this, you got a QB power up the middle by Milroe. The Alabama quarterback does a good job getting to the outside, getting outside the arms of 25 here. But Mike Sainristil, shows no mercy, lowers his shoulder, gets in there, makes a big-time tackle on a quarterback that can make big-time plays, right? Having the ability to have a slot corner that wants to tackle is massive in itself. Now, here's another beautiful play here by Mike. We're going to see him kind of drop into a cloud flat, get over here to the flats. You also have this DB going deep, this DB staying deep, him staying deep. We got flat over here, a hook curl, and a hook curl over here as well. So basically, you got a line of defenders over the middle, and then 3 up top as well. Now, watch how this play breaks down again. You always need someone that is willing to put their body on line and just make a big-time tackle when you need it, right? So we're going to have a drag over the middle here by this receiver, just trying to clear out the left side of the field. That way, if you have one-on-one and he beats him, it could be a massive touchdown, right? So boom, get a drag over the middle, get this guy the football, and now Mike is kind of put on an island here where he kind of needs to make a tackle, and that is exactly what he does. Good pursuit angle, good job wrapping him up, bringing him down, and getting a big time stop there. I mean, this dude can do everything. Now, Emmanuel Forbes is one of those guys who was drafted early last season, never really panned out in year one, but I think he's going to take a massive leap in year two, not because of, just the second year being a better player, that is going to be, account for some things, but having Joe Whitt and Dan Quinn here, they're going to put him in the right situations to come away with interceptions. The man had 14, I believe, at one point at Mississippi State. The man was an absolute dog, getting interceptions, finding ways to create turnovers. Him and Mike Sainristil are going to be massive additions for the secondary in year one. And then from there, you talk about guys like Michael Davis, who they bring over from, I believe, the Chargers, right? You bring in Jeremy Chin, who looks like he could be a day one starter at safety. You have Benjamin St. Juste. You have Derek Forrest, Emmanuel Forbes, Quan Martin, Mike Sainristil. Dude, this team is going to be deep in the secondary, and I guarantee you from day one, Joe Whitt and Dan Quinn are going to make them one of the best secondaries in football. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Especially with the talent of Emmanuel Forbes, the talent of Mike Sainristil. You also bring in a former first-round pick in Noah Igbinoghene as well from Auburn. Dude, they have done such a good job with this roster. I also love the fact that they came over here, they added a defensive lineman in Jerzhan Newton. You also have Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. You bring in Dorrance Armstrong and a Dante Fowler. This team is going to be able to get to the quarterback, right? Now, one thing you saw at Mississippi State with a guy like Emmanuel Forbes is when you get contact, when you get pressure on the quarterback, you can generate one of five things: a bad throw, a bad decision, an interception, a forced fumble, a sack. You can generate a bunch of different things by just getting pressure on the quarterback. On this play, we see a zero blitz, trusting Emmanuel Forbes in this one-on-one coverage here up top here. I mean, this is beautiful. Watch how Emmanuel Forbes absolutely comes back to the football, understands that this pressure forces the quarterback into a bad throw, comes up with a nasty interception, goes down the sideline for what should be an easy touchdown there for Emmanuel Forbes. He's going to do this so much. Year one, or year two, I should say. He's going to do this.